Welcome to episode 4 of the Locker Box podcast, brought to you by benchconnect.net. Harley, this isn't one that we were planning on doing or that we wanted to do, but I think it's one that we need to do. I think we owe it to our fans. We owe it to the country of Canada. We owe it to the country of the U.S. of America. I don't know why I said it like that. But we owe it to everybody to come on here and give the fans what they need. Sometimes in life, when you're working, you don't want to go to work, but you know what? You got to get to work regardless of how you feel.
Don't know where you're going with this here. You're just on a little monologue. I don't know if people are listening at home. They're just going to get motivated. They're just going to want to head to work right now and have the best day possible. But what do you say if I just get it going with our Bench Connect presenting sponsor here?
Take it away.
Is that good with you? So if you're serious about moving up in hockey, this one's for you. Bench Connect cuts out the guessing. Players get exposure. Coaches find talent. Deals actually happen. Global Hockey Network, real opportunities. benchconnect.net, where opportunities are called. The website is live. If you're looking for an opportunity, go ahead and head to benchconnect.net and find your next opportunity. Whites, you said it best, right? Sometimes you don't want to go to work. Feels like that's me every day. And tomorrow it's going to be tough to head into work, right? Not the episode you want to make. It's a tough day. If our energy levels are down, you know why. But we're doing our best here, Whites. We're doing our best.
You know what? My energy level's not down because any day I get to talk hockey is a good day. You know, it was a great hockey game this morning, a great showcase of what the sport is. Hopefully it grows the sport. It brings more fans to the game.
I mean, not to talk over you, but let's just start off with that. Like, what a hockey game that was. What a hockey game that was. I don't want to skip over anything that we have going on, but I think it will. Like you see people tweeting, and we lost fair and square, but it does make me happy when people are fighting on Twitter, this and that. You know, it sucks we lost, but it's growing the game. It's growing the game. NHL players in the Olympics is going to grow the game, and what a hockey game we got to watch at 8:10 Eastern Standard Time this morning. Tough one to get up for, but I think the boys came out, they played well, and let's get into the intro here, what we're going through, Whites.
Yeah, we're going to talk some women's hockey, touch on Slavkovsky, touch on Suzuki, obviously touch on the game today. We'll go through that. And then we're going to finish off with kind of
a new segment.
Took some questions from some listeners, some fans. So we'll dive into that, and we'll talk a little Montreal Canadiens coming up this week. You know, you can't dwell, you can't soak, because the NHL season is right back in full swing. Montreal plays Wednesday. But, you know, you mentioned, and I mentioned kind of growing the game. I mean, you can't talk about growing the game without talking about the women's game. We had a lot of people who even said they want to hear our thoughts on the women's game, on Canada-US final, USA again, taking home gold. You know, Canada has had the US's number in women's hockey for a long time, and it kind of seems like that's shifting. That's no longer the case, that the US is now, I think you could crown them the queens of women's hockey, because they've had our number all year, whether they play in the rivalry series, in the round robin here, 5-0, and Canada even gave their best foot forward. They put their best foot forward this in the finals. They played a hell of a game. They had a hell of a game plan, and the U.S. still came out on top with their young guns firing away. So, Michaels, I know you watched that full game. So what were your takeaways?
Yeah, and I think I think the U.S. is doing something right with the developmental program that they have going on there. What do they call it? The US NTDP. I think they do similar things with the women, but it seems like these players, they play with each other from when they're 10 years old up until now. So the chemistry is there. Whereas on the Canada side, I think we're starting to adopt that, but you can see the success that it has for the US team. But yeah, honestly, I think a good fight for the Team Canada. They lost all 4 games before the Olympics versus the U.S. I don't know what that was called, maybe preliminary series or
rivalry series
or something like that. But yeah, we lost all 4 games, and we lost 5-0 in round robin, not to repeat what you said, just like you said. Going into this one, I'll be honest, I didn't have much confidence in our ladies. I thought we were just going to get smacked again. I thought it was going to be easy, but obviously our girls, they heard this. They heard what people were saying. They heard that it was going to be an easy game for the U.S. and they came out and they fought. That they were up for most of the game. They got a shorthanded goal in the second period, and they held that lead up until the last couple minutes of the game, where captain of the U.S. team, Hillary Knight, she tied it up late, unfortunately. And then we go into 3-on-3 overtime. You know, anything can happen in 3-on-3 overtime. And I think we had chances both ways, maybe a missed hook here and there. But ultimately, Megan Keller gets the job done. She had a nice highlight reel goal for the U.S. women's team, and they win it there. That's one gold we didn't win. It sucks. I think looking back on the tournament, I think I'd say a pretty good showing for Team Canada in that game. After losing 5-0 to the same team, you come back and lose 2-1 in overtime. I'm pretty pumped for them, but obviously they're not too happy coming home with a silver medal. It's still a great accomplishment, but yeah, right now the U.S. has our number, White. So
Yeah, few takeaways from the women's hockey. One, I know the U.S. seemed to go with a younger roster, whereas Canada went with an older, more experienced roster. It seemed to have paid off for Canada in that finals. You know, just having the experienced players like Natalie Spooner, like Sarah Nurse. You know, the older
Marie-Philippe
ladies,
Poulin,
who have been
yeah.
there before, who've played in these big games. It seemed to have been kind of working for them. You know, the lights weren't too bright for them, but kudos to the U.S. They have some young legs, you know, some girls they can really play the game, that are really good, really exciting to watch, a lot of fun to watch, and they came through in the end. So, like you said, tip your caps to the U.S. and women's hockey's also in a great place, you know. So can't complain about that either.
Yeah, you know what? We might have lost the game, but women's hockey's growing, and
Hmm.
that's hockey in general. So more eyes on hockey,
Yeah.
everybody's happy.
Do you think part of it is like even the Canadian girls, like they go over and play U.S. like U.S. NCAA hockey, so it's like a American league. That's where they develop until they go now, I guess, the PWHL. But some of those American girls are still playing in U.S. college hockey. Do you think like the women's game is just growing that much more in the U.S. because they have this college league that girls growing up when they're young, they look up to these girls in college, they look up to the local university teams and they want to play for them. Whereas Canada, it's when you're younger, it's a little further away. So you're not as kind of like into the US like college hockey game. Do you think that plays a part into why this US you see so many young studs in the US program?
That's a good point, Whites, because you think of it, if you're a girl born in Canada and you want to if you want to get to the PWHL, let's say,
Hmm.
your route is always U.S. college hockey, I guess. And that I may be totally wrong on this. And if there is, I'm sorry, Sarah from
Sarnia.
Sarah from Sarnia. Sorry about that. Like, I think if you're top girls in Canada, you go to the US. You don't go to college in Canada to play if you want to go to the PWHL. Whereas here you'd see men hockey players, they had the choice to go to college or juniors, obviously. Now that kind of changed, or now we got new things going on with that. But yeah, you're right. It might have something to do with it. Whereas like they have some place to go where to develop in the States, and in Canada, you don't see it as much. But hopefully women's hockey continues to grow. Maybe women will start playing here, grow the game. I think the PWHL has done a great job at growing the game. The games are sold out. I know in Montreal, the barn's always sold out. And here in Toronto, it's sold out as well. So I don't know. The women put on a great show. Unfortunately, Canada didn't come on top, and I guess we got to wait another 4 years.
Hmm. Yeah, I think the better team won in that game. The U.S. women deserved it. I don't know if I could say the same thing about the better team winning in the men's side, but let's get right into it, Michaels. 2-1 win again in overtime for the U.S. Men's program, and what a game it was. Initial reactions. I know it's a little. We kind of waited to start. I mean, it's 6:15 now. Game was this morning. I'm sure we were a lot more thoughts, a lot more kind of reactions right after post game. I know a lot of excuses were running through our minds of why the game ended up the way it did. But now, you know, it's settled in a little bit. What are your thoughts on that game? Positives, negatives? What are your biggest takeaways? Hit me right now.
Yeah, there's so much to take away in this game. I'll be honest, before the game, watching the U.S. take their way to the gold medal game versus Canada, I'm looking at these U.S. forwards and I'm like, wow, these guys are deep. They have a deep forward group, and then it just gets better from there. You know, their D core is just unbelievable. Like, I think every D on their team would make our team. Not every one of our Ds would make their team. I just came up with that. I don't know if would you
I
agree
get what
with
you're
that?
saying. I
Would
get
you
what
agree
you're
with that
saying.
though? Like
Yes, I completely agree with that. From top to bottom, other than Makar, the USD is a lot stronger. Same with goaltending. Forwards, Canada has the upper hand on like the top echelon guys, but after that, I mean, again, it's a toss up. So we could say the wrong team won. I mean, the team that won, so you can make all the excuses you want. I was kind of just kidding originally to start there.
But
But
but just moving to that thought, I before this game, I thought the US was going to be the better team. And after watching that game, I'm not going to lie, I'm pretty happy with the way we played. I thought we were 100% the better team. We didn't score on the opportunities that we have, and they did on the opportunities that they had. I think we had some mistakes in overtime that went their way. Ultimately, I am pretty happy with the game we played. I wouldn't say the US runs hockey right now. They do have both gold medals, so if you're an American and you're saying that, I have nothing to say back to you, but I think we can agree. McKinnon said it after the game. You could kind of see who was the better team, who played better, but at the end of the game, that doesn't win you gold medals. That doesn't win you Stanley Cups. It's goals in the back of the net that do. White's, yeah, what was your biggest takeaways from the game? Maybe you could go into Suzuki, his role in the game. Yeah, talk to me. What do you think about the game?
yeah, I mean, I think we gotta pump the U.S. tires. I mean, they won the game fair and square? Some might say, some might not. Matt Boldy, that opening goal, that was something special. I mean, the way he flipped that puck up in the air, batted it down to himself, one of the breakaways, scored.
That's our top D pairing right there.
Yep. So tip your cap to him. I know you were a big fan of Austin Matthews' game defensively.
Yeah,
the way he shut down.
I noticed that. I don't watch too much Austin Matthews because I'm a Habs guy, not watching the Leafs as much. But there was multiple times in that game where I see Austin Matthews coming back for a stick check, and I know you hear it around the NHL. They say that he's a great two-way forward, a Selke, a potential winner there. Has he won a Selke? Nope, I don't think he has. But Selke's a two-way forward, right? Okay, that's what I thought. I think he could win it. After watching him today, I completely agree with whoever's been saying that. I think he obviously got a point on the first goal there, but I think his defensive side of the game is what stood out for me. But anything else that stood out for you, Whites?
I mean, Connor Hellebuck, I think he won. If it wasn't for Connor Hellebuck, we'd be having a completely different conversation right now. So I guess it's our new segment, the hat tips to the guys who deserve it.
Yeah.
What do you make, 40 saves?
Something like that. I got a box score somewhere up here, but
yeah, grade A saves too. I mean, he got lucky. He got bailed out by his defenseman once. McAvoy with a great defensive play.
41 saves, White.
40 saves, yeah. McKinnon.
41 saves.
McKinnon missed an empty netter. There was a few chances where Canada, but I mean, I guess the storyline and the picture, there's two pictures right now that are like pasted in people's head. One is McKinnon's missed empty net goal, and the other one is a save on a Taze by Hellebuck with the paddle. So,
and then you got the one with Jack Hughes with the flag draped around his back and the half tooth. That one's also, I'm seeing that one a lot.
Yeah, so, I mean, Connor Hellebuck was the difference maker in the game, and before the game, I even said, I was like, if U.S., it can shut down Canada's top line, so the McKinnon, McDavid, Celebrini line, they will win if Canada does not get secondary scoring, and I mean, they didn't get the secondary scoring they needed at the end of the day, and the U.S. shut down Canada's top guys, so that really is the difference right there, and Connor Hellebuck was probably the biggest reason as to why they shut down their top guys between him and Austin Matthews. So, I mean,
right, we had our chances. You can't say we didn't try. Yeah, Connor Hellebuck's on his head. McKinnon misses that open net. Connor Hellebuck makes that incredible save on Devon Taze, whatever you want to call it, and then we also had our top two players have breakaways, right? McDavid, he is not a clear-cut breakaway, but almost a clear-cut breakaway, kind of just runs into Hellebuck there, doesn't really get a full shot, and then Celebrini there. I've seen him score that exact goal in the NHL where he comes in on the left-hand side and he shoots it 5-hole and it goes in. But again, Connor Hellebuck, he's into my nightmare right now, and he made some big saves. We had some chances on the 5-on-3. McKinnon was setting up Celebrini. He missed the net a couple times, so we had our chances. We didn't capitalize, and the U.S. did. So tough pill to swallow here as Canadians, but tip your cap again to Team USA and Jack Hughes there. I thought that was hilarious. He got high stick, chip his tooth, and then he goes ahead and chips Bo Horvat's tooth. I know we spoke about it at the start, just a crazy game, the swings, the penalties, everything. It was just the hit. Talk about Tom Wilson's hit on Dylan Larkin. Let's let's check on Larkin here. Holy crap, get off the train track. I watched that in slow-mo. This guy, he flew back, hit his head on the boards. Let's get that guy in concussion protocol here. But
Yeah, where were
yeah,
the concussion spotters on that one?
yeah, concussion spotters didn't make it to Milan, I guess.
Flight got canceled. Okay, so I mean, we got to take a Canadians angle here. Nick Suzuki, obviously the only Montreal Canadiens player on Team Canada or in that game as well. Played 10 minutes and 31 seconds time on ice. He definitely was a very controversial player for the Team Canada with how people perceived him. It was kind of a roller coaster of stories. I think he played very well today. I mean, he didn't have a lot of minutes, 10 minutes, 31 seconds. They kind of started putting McKinnon and McDavid on that line in his spot, and then they found him in different roles, different places. But I thought the chances when he did get on the ice, he played really well. And I thought he should have played more. Every time he was on the ice, he was generating chances. He was setting up his teammates. He was getting in on the forecheck. So I really think, look, I love John Cooper as a coach, but I think he missed the ball on that one. I thought Suzuki was going, and I am watching him, obviously a little biased. The guy is a big time player. He comes up, he scores when the team needs him most. So I think that was a miss. If we're going to get into misses and if we were the coach, what we would do, obviously we're not the coach. Obviously, John Cooper knows a lot more than us, but I think Nick Suzuki not playing so much was a miss. And I think one reason might have been his faceoffs. I think he was lost 6 out of 7 draws. So it was hard to start him at 6-7. It was hard to find him ice time because you didn't want him taking a draw. You didn't want him put him out there between whistles because you didn't think you were going to win the draw. So, that could have played a part on it, but take it away through Nick Suzuki. I think a way we can kind of just delve into his game is by you talking about the play on the Canada lone goal.
Yeah, no, I'll get into that in a second, but I completely agree with your take. I think he could have been played over multiple different people. I know he's a forward, he wasn't winning draws, but anybody who was going against Dylan Larkin wasn't winning draws. I think before coming into the game, he was 85% on draws, and then I think during the game maybe he lost a couple, so I think he was at 75%. So Dylan Larkin was winning draws against anybody, no matter who you put out there. And I know this is not center for center, but I saw a little too much of Brad Marchand out there. I don't know. I heard rumors that he's injured and he might be shut down after the Olympics. So I don't know if that's going to happen. This might be a rumor here.
You're an insider,
but I don't know. I heard it. I know a guy, but I don't see how you don't play Suzuki more after that goal. I thought he was originally going to get an assist on that goal. He probably could have or could get one for the play dead. He wins the battle, gets it to Taze. Taze moves it over to Makar. Makar walks in and just an absolute rip. It was right over the pad, right under the blocker of Hellebuck. If you're going to beat Hellebuck this game, it had to be a perfect shot or you had to perfectly miss the open net to beat Hellebuck. And yeah, what a shot, what a play by Suzuki. I would have liked to see him more, but like you said, we're not coaches. And we lost the game ultimately. So Whites, what do you think about that goal in Suzuki?
Coaches, let's get into kind of the hockey talk of coaches are always talking about face-off readiness on the wings, face-off readiness. Centers play the major part in winning a face-off, but their wings need to help them out too. And I think the way he was ready for that draw, puck came into his area. He won that battle without even touching the puck. If he wasn't hard on that, the guy would have just chipped it out and we wouldn't even have scored that goal. So, kudos to Suzuki. It shows his kind of how smart he is, but how ready he is and how reliable he is. So I think it was a great sequence for Suzuki. Again, just kind of like I said, showing off his hockey IQ. Would have liked to see him more. I wonder if he was going to go out there in overtime a little later on. Montreal must be top team in the league in overtime, in OT, and 3-on-3. I think they always win. Obviously, Suzuki is a part of that. Caulfield's obviously a major part of that, but I think Nick Suzuki is just as important as Cole Caulfield in overtime. So I wonder if he was going to get a chance out there.
Do you want to get into that overtime?
Yeah.
Let's talk about the overtime here. Break it down. What'd you see there? Yeah, what'd you see? Was it only McDavid, McKinnon, and Makar out there? Those are the only 3 that got a shift in overtime, or did
Marner
they
was
run
out
through
there? Yeah, they ran through Marner, Celebrini.
Okay.
I'm thinking Taze, if I remember correctly, might have gone out with those 2. A lot of do you want to take it away, or do you want me to take it away?
Yeah, I could do a little bit of breakdown, and you could get I'll do a high level, but you could get really into the details of the play. But overall, I think we played overtime terribly. Normally 3-on-3, obviously I'd say I don't like 3-on-3 in a big games like this. There's a reason why in the Stanley Cup playoffs they don't do 3-on-3. It's fun for a regular season game, preliminary round like that, but in a big game like that, you don't want to see a 3-on-3 goal deciding the big game. But unfortunately, it was equal for both teams. And in 3-on-3, you're supposed to want as much possession as you can. And if it's not there, usually you turn back and wait for it to come for your wait for your teammates to get back and go all together, where it seemed like we were just going 1 versus 3 couple of times. McDavid did it, McKinnon did it. And then when we were going back the other way, it seemed like we didn't have any back checkers and they were always hitting that high guy. Talk about Binnington and that massive save he had on Quinn Hughes. It could have been finished there. But overall, just a weird overtime period for Team Canada there. Like we 100% were the better team throughout the regulation, but that overtime was not just, we absolutely lost that one.
Yeah, I mean, how you mentioned, I honestly, I just thought it was like very individual for Team Canada. Like they were just trying to be the guy, like, oh, give me the puck, I'll go end to end. I didn't mind McDavid taking Jack Hughes one-on-one because he's a forward, but I didn't like his shot on his first shift. McKinnon was doing some of that too, just kind of trying to beat the guy. And it was like you had 20 minutes or 18 minutes in the locker room to put a game plan together of like how you were going to attack the US on 3-on-3 as a unit, as a team. And I really thought it was just very individual. And the US just kept counterattacking. Every time Canada would go down, McDavid or McKinnon would try to make a play and the US would just counter and they get the better scoring chances. So I think they had a better game plan going into overtime than Canada. And that ultimately was one of the difference makers again in the game. So I don't like the individualism. You mentioned to me off air before, and I don't mean to take your words out of your mouth or anything, but
Take them.
I think the narrative was too much for Canada. It's like, who's going to be Canada's hero instead of like, let's do this together. Right. I thought it was, like you said, it was too individual. It was too much of be the guy, be the difference maker, and not as much of let's win this as a team. How are we going to beat this team? How are we going to beat the US? How are we going to break down their structure in 3-on-3? And that was a big difference maker. So I don't know. They lost. They lost.
Yeah,
They lost.
but let's break down the goal here. So it's coming back our way. It's a weird bounce. It gets tipped in the neutral zone. I think Jack Hughes tips it. And then it's kind of a weird spot for Makar. He doesn't know whether he could get it or not. He decides to step up and pinch. Ultimately, that's when Jack Hughes tips it by him. And then it gets to Werenski. Or actually not. McKinnon's getting back where I thought it was actually kind of a 3-on-1 at that point. And I kind of thought McKinnon could have got that puck, but he was kind of hesitant. He decides to not go for it. Then he does go for it. But then he kind of just got out-muscled, which you don't see by McKinnon too often. Usually he's the dog. Usually he's muscling everybody off the puck. But he gets out-muscled by Werenski. And then Werenski just finds Jack Hughes just uncovered. I know people are giving Makar shit, McDavid shit for not coming back. And in 3-on-3, if you don't come back, there's somebody open in the slot. And you can't blame Binnington there. He was expecting a high shot, opens up the 5-hole, and like, what a weird shot, right? Like me or you, we get that puck. We're trying to go in top corner. We're not shooting a 5-hole there, right?
Yeah,
but
I didn't know it went 5-hole, I'll be honest, because I haven't rewatched. I'm watching it now, but I didn't watch it after he scored. So
yeah, went 5-hole, and there you go. Team USA, 1 shot, 1 goal, and Team USA wins gold medal, and Canada has to wait 4 years to get retributions.
Yeah, I'm watching it. You mentioned Makar, 2 in between, and then 2 in between. You either go or you don't go. They're kind of half-assed it both times. McDavid backchecked. He was back. It kind of looks like he was like trying to take the other guy. I don't know who it was. Was it Larkin maybe who was out there? And then Larkin kind of just was a non-factor and Hughes got behind him. And I mean, Makar is so fast. I don't know how he was so far behind in the picture there. I don't like his back check. McDavid could have read it a little better. But at the end of the day, indecisiveness costed them on that goal, right?
Yeah, 100%. And yeah, you make one wrong move against these type of players, it's going to be in the back of your net.
Mm-hmm.
We saw it the hard way. Like we said at the beginning, I think we were the better team, but at the end of the day, it's a one game deciding whatever you want to call it. It's not a series, and we lost, and we'll try again in 4 years. White, let me ask you a question here. In 2 years, there's going to be the Four Nations again, correct?
Mm-hmm.
So if Team Canada beats the U.S. in the Four Nations, are we back, or is it the U.S. is going to be like, oh yeah, but we won the Olympics, it doesn't really count? What are we thinking here?
I mean, I think whoever wins the last tournament, regardless of what it is
Has
the
the
one
bragging
who
right.
holds bragging rights. I know for sure, and I would do the same if it was the other way around. If Canada won and then the U.S. won the next Four Nations or whatever they're going to call it, I would 100% say it doesn't matter. You got to win Olympic gold. But because it's the other way around, I'm going to say the team that's most recently won a tournament against each other is the most recent winner and holds the reins.
I agree.
Yeah.
Like, they're all NHL players. The team is
Mhm.
going to be the same no matter if it was at the
And they're-
Olympics or at Four Nations.
And they're going to try just as hard.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're all going to be just as into it. That's a good question though. I like that one. Do you want to just, speaking of questions, do you just want to get into some of these Q&As and fire them off?
I just want to close off one more thing. Ultimately, just a great Olympic tournament, specifically for the Habs. Slavkovsky, he gets named to the MVP team or whatever it's called, All-Star team.
Yeah.
Those, like, Slavkovsky, in one of the 3 best forwards in the tournament, be named on the I know you just said it. What was it? All-Star team or whatever they
Olympic
did.
All-Star team. Yep.
Olympic All-Star team. Like, that as a Habs fan, that makes me feel good. I think it's going to make him feel good moving into the Canadian season. Like you said, we start on a Wednesday, so right back at it. Get back from Italy. Get your sleep schedule right, and so give me the Slovakia Slavkovsky moving forward. I mean, he's been unbelievable all year, but we spoke about it in a different episode when he's playing for Slovakia. He's obviously top 3 forward in the tournament. So give me that guy.
Yeah. No, you said it right. Okay, let's get into these Q&As. The first one, we're going to leave the names out of who it was for just keep people
Privacy reasons.
Yeah. What would you do if the stuffed animal that Team Canada was given after losing after they got their silver medals? What would you do with that if you were on the losing side and you were given that stuffed animal?
I think I would do exactly as McKinnon did. I would look at this and say, what the fuck is this? Why you give me a stuffed animal? I'm 29, 30 years old, however old McKinnon is. I don't need this. Yeah, would you do the same thing? What is this? What are these stuffed animals? Like, we saw with the women's team, they got it too. Like, why are they getting stuffed animals? Is this like an Olympic thing? Is this an Italy thing?
I have no clue, but my wires cross when I play hockey. I do some stuff I probably regret. I'd probably throw it. I'd throw it, I don't know, I'd throw it at the other team. I'd throw it at the guy who gave it to me. I'd throw it in the stands, kind of like that guy from Sweden a few years ago in the World Jays. I'd throw it. I'd probably get in trouble. It wouldn't be a good look, but I wouldn't be able to continue. I'm a sore loser sometimes, so I'd probably throw it. I'd definitely throw it.
All right, let's get to the next question.
Next question. Why are you guys so handsome? Thank you. I appreciate it.
Keep it professional. keep it professional. Who's asking that? Jesus Christ.
Just keep the privacy.
Did that one come from Harley_Michaels?
I put that one in there myself. Yeah. No, I'm kidding. I actually like this question. This is a good question. Shout out to you. If you're listening and you asked this question, I think it's a good one. If you can make one roster change or deployment change, what is it if you're on Canada?
If I'm on Team Canada, I am taking away Colton Parayko, and I might even take Sanheim if you want to go lefty for lefty, but I take Colton Parayko out, I take Travis Sanheim out, and I put Matthew Schaefer and Jacob Chikrin. Those are my 2 changes.
I actually liked Sanheim's game. I thought he played well. I thought he joined the rush well. I thought he used his feet well. But I completely agree with you. Parayko, I mean, the guy's a Stanley Cup. He's a good hockey player, but I don't think this game is for him. Every time the puck touched his stick,
try soccer or something.
Every time the puck touched his stick, it was a turnover. It was an ice. It was chipped. He chipped it off the glass. He didn't really help Canada's transition game. He kind of, like you said, he's like an older school guy. Like, the way he plays, he doesn't play the new modern style hockey. I think he just needed to be stapled to the bench. And I mean, I agree with you. It's Parayko.
Parayko's your guy, and
Parayko's my guy.
Who are you putting instead?
Schaefer, Chikrin.
Schaefer over Chikrin, or if you had to choose one for one, who are you going?
I'm taking Schaefer.
Schaefer over Chikrin.
I mean, Schaefer would fly out there.
Shaker would
fly out there. So
okay, moving on.
This one was a question asked by a lot of people. but it was more so why was it 3-on-3 and not like 5-on-5, 4-on-4? I know the Olympics, Sidney Crosby's golden goal, that was 4-on-4. I believe Four Nations was 5-on-5. I get
Yeah,
why they
it
did
was.
3-on-3 just to like keep the
You're
time
saying
constrained,
speed it up, like you
speed it up, but
can't be that one game. I think it was the Blue Jackets and the Lightning like 5 years ago or whatever it was when they
yeah.
went to like 5 OT. Yeah, you can't have that in Milan. But I don't know what's wrong with this. Is what I said. What I don't know if I told you it. I think you go 5-on-5, 20 minutes,
Mhm.
4-on-4, 20 minutes, 3-on-3, 20 minutes, and
Yeah.
then if you don't get anything, then go shoot out.
Or even 10 minutes of each.
10
I don't
minutes.
know.
Yeah,
The game was like it was such a one-sided game, and then when it went to 3-on-3, it kind of changed the whole game. It's a different game. 3-on-3 is a different game.
yeah, it's a
It's a
full on
completely
different game.
different game. So I mean, like I said, the US won. They deserve it. Kudos to them. Within the rules of the game, they won.
Right, because
But
if we won, we wouldn't be talking about. I'd say I'd agree with the U.S. people saying, "Oh, it's 3-on-3." If we
yeah,
won in 3-on-3, I think I'd say, yeah, obviously it sucks to have 3-on-3, but at the end of the day, we won, and
yes,
we're acknowledging the U.S. won fair and square. But we just wish it wasn't 3-on.
yeah. I don't think it should be thrown. Like I said, it's a different game. It gave the US like the team that was playing the team that wasn't as good in the game gave them a better chance of winning. So I don't like that one. Okay, next question. Another one that was mentioned a lot. USA had 7 men on the ice, clear as day, and the refs missed that one. So it wasn't really a question, but like, why was that not called? I don't know. It was a missed call. It was the wrong call. Refs did a good job throughout the game. I wasn't crazy about Theodore's hook after Bennett got hooked earlier in the game, and they kind of missed that one. But I think the refs did a good job, but they definitely missed that too many men call.
She said it best like that. I think Mike Johnson on the broadcast, he was like, "What is going on here?" It's like it's one thing if it touches his feet when he gets on, but he was playing the puck. Like I think it was Jack Hughes.
Yeah.
He's playing the puck. It was a full on too many men call. Too many men has been a hot topic throughout these Olympics, and once again, it haunts us.
Mm-hmm. Next question, similar to an earlier one. What would you do if you were behind Canada's bench? Staple Pareko right to the bench. He could hang out with me. He could sit next to me. He could watch the game with me.
Stable Pareko throw Suzuki out a little bit more than
Yes,
he
let
was.
Suzuki play defense. Better than
Seriously.
Pareko playing defense.
Yeah.
This one's for you. Can Harley circle back on his Binnington clip? So for those who didn't watch or don't know, you stood tall, you stood strong, saying Binnington is the guy. I don't want to see Logan Thompson. I want to ride Binnington. What are your thoughts now?
I back my original clip. I would put Binnington if he had only one hand. I think he played well. He made some massive saves throughout the game. The first goal, it's a breakaway. It's his first shot, actually. It was the first shot, first goal. You kind of hope he gets that one, but what are you going to do? Ask your goalie to save the first breakaway? Yeah, it'd be nice, but obviously Hellebuck would probably have saved that the way he played today. And then he made some big saves. He came up big, and then in overtime, he made a massive save on Quinn Hughes. But I'll double down on my Binnington take. I'm not putting Logan Thompson in that game. Yeah, I don't think anyone is. I'm sticking with Binnington. I think he played well, so we can move on. Get out of here. Whoever asked that.
Why don't the coaching staff get medals? I don't know.
Is this like an Italy thing, or is this like an all Olympic thing?
It's always been an Olympic thing. I think if you think about it, like, I don't know, downhill, I'm just using that as an example, downhill skier, they have a coach. If that downhill skier gets a gold medal or mogul skier, I don't think their coach gets it. So it's probably the same thing.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. At the end of the day, these players are putting in work, this and that, to be the best of their ability. Not to say that coaches don't do that, but they're not putting the physical work in to be the best they can be. So I'm fine with coaches not getting medals.
Yep. Would Harley join the boys at the bar this morning? Would it have made a difference if Harley joined the boys at the bar this morning?
I think I knew who asked that one, but I don't think it would have. You know, I woke up this morning, was supposed to go to a bar to watch it. I said, I'm too nervous for this. I can't have too many people around. I needed to watch on my own to dissect it for you guys. And unfortunately, we lost, but I don't think it would have made any difference if I was at the bar versus watching it here. Shout out to Bomber Sign.
If Crosby plays the game, does Canada win?
I don't know. I know I had that Wilson take there. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I said Wilson was going to be more impactful than Sidney Crosby in a game versus the U.S. And was I correct? I think he was. That's not the way I wanted it to be. If you come at me and say you're the reason why Sidney Crosby got injured, fuck you. That's not the reason why. But I think Wilson played an awesome game. He was a great player out there, a huge factor in the reason why we played a good game. But if we had Sidney Crosby out there, I'd say maybe in between. I'm sure he was in the locker room in between periods, in between the third and OT, but I guess we'll never know. Maybe he would have had a golden goal times two, you know?
Yeah, I'm gonna take a page right out of your book and say, I'm saying here on the Locker Box podcast, episode 4, if Sidney Crosby was in the game, Team Canada would have won. The guy's a difference maker. He's captain Canada. He's won gold before. He could have scored. He could have ended the game. He would have been out there the second shift. He could have ended the game. Ratko Gudas took that away from Canada. If Sidney Crosby was in the game, Team Canada is winning. There's a different outcome in this game. I think
You
he
heard
just
it here
changes the
first.
aura.
Ratko Gudas lost the gold medal for Team Canada. You heard it here first on the Locker Box podcast.
Okay, I like that. Should Bedard have been on the team?
I'm going to go with no. Especially after watching the team play today, I'm going to double down and say no. I think we played a great game. I think having Bedard, what's it going to do? Who are you going to you saw McDavid, Celebrini, and McKinnon play almost every situation. When are you going to put Bedard out there? He's not ready yet in 4 years, and I think it's in France. Yes, Bedard will make the team.
Thoughts on McDavid going 1v3 twice in OT to try to be the hero himself? We already kind of touched on that. We don't like it. I don't mind. Like I said, I didn't mind him going against Jack Hughes one-on-one, but I like to see him circle back, come in with speed, find a 2-on-1, kind of isolate a guy, and like I said, find a 2-on-1. So I don't like that. How mad? Not mad. I'm happy for the game of hockey. I'm not mad at all.
I'll be honest, I'm mad. I see every tweet, every story, every this. I think what's his name? We're not a political podcast, but Trudeau posted something saying you're never gonna take our country and you're never gonna take our game. And then the White House tweeted that picture of the eagle stamping down on a Canadian geese throat. I thought that was pretty funny. So I am pretty mad. Out of 10, I'm an 8.
I'm not mad. This one I already talked to, but you wanted to answer this. I don't have an answer for this. I have no clue. But how come Quebec isn't producing any players on this team compared to BC, Ontario, Nova Scotia, etc.?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have an answer for you, but it's something to bring up. I know when the Olympic roster was announced, people were surprised there was no Quebec player on the roster. Usually our thing was goalies. In the Four Nations, we had Montebo. Obviously, we know what kind of year Montebo's having, so obviously he wasn't on the team. But yeah, what's going on? We're not producing those top talents. We're not producing goalies. I know we spoke with our buddy today. We're saying in 2030, who's goalie for Team Canada? I don't know. Who's going to be your goalie? We don't know. We need someone to come out of the blue. But yeah, I think Quebec needs to start, what do you say here? Holding their weight, bringing up their weight, lifting their weight. That's what you say. I think Quebec needs to start lifting their weight and provide some top players here. We can't have the rest of the provinces provide. At least give them our typical goalie. Usually we gave them Luongo, Brodeur. So I don't know what's going on, but yeah, it's definitely interesting. Something I think about.
And then this last one, I guess we could call him a troll. Aside from Marchand, Suzuki, and Jarvis, who else was a waste of a roster spot? I don't think any of those 3 guys were a waste of a roster spot. I think they all deserve to be there.
Who is a waste of a roster spot, White?
Well, we already said it was a waste of a roster spot.
This is a Colton Parayko episode right now. Yeah, Colton Parayko, waste of a roster spot.
Okay, and that really does it for the questions. Thanks to our listeners for asking these questions, for being involved. Something that we enjoyed doing. I think we'd like to do it again.
And let us know if you like the segment. Let us know. Give us some feedback.
Yeah, let us know. That does it for the Olympic hockey talk. That's in the past. We'll see you in 4 years. It was a lot of fun. It was a great time for us to start a podcast and get right into the Olympics. I think it got us clicks, and we're in the clicks business. So I think I enjoyed it. Moving forward, we're kind of running a little long here, so we'll keep it short. Back to the Habs upcoming week. I believe Montreal plays the Islanders on Wednesday in Montreal, and then the Capitals on Saturday. 2 big games against Eastern Conference teams. Give me your, just quickly, Habs record this week in those 2 games.
In those 2 games, I think we're going 2-0 in those games. I think Caulfield's pissed off, Hudson's pissed off, Demidov's pissed off that he can't play in the Olympics. Not to say that he'd make the team. I actually don't know. That's something to look into. And then Suzuki lost his medal, his gold medal. So I think everyone's going to be pissed off, play with a solid attitude, and I think we go 2-0 versus those opponents. What about you?
I agree. 2-0. I've started off on a good foot. There's not enough games, and it's too tight to kind of stumble out the gates here. I think 2-0. Habs go 2-0, get off to a good start. Dobesh wins one, Montebo wins the other. The boys come out hot. They come out feeling good, and
Let's
take
get
it to the playoffs.
let's get Montebo going at the second half here. Like, I need him to step up. We can't be relying on Dobesh. He's not. I don't think he's there yet. So we can't be relying on him. We need Montebo to start freaking making some saves, getting us some big wins. I think right before we left off, he played Winnipeg and he had a good game.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
So yeah, we'll see you again probably next weekend. We'll break down the week of the Montreal Canadiens. We'll break down some big things in the first week back in the NHL. Again, go ahead, like, subscribe, comment, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Twitter, follow us on TikTok, interact with our stuff. Tell us you hate us, tell us you love us, tell us everything in between. Thanks again, Michaels. Have a great week. We will talk again soon. When we talk again, it'll be 2 Habs games. So we'll be right back in the thick of the NHL.
Go Habs, go.